this isn't a Western. It just thinks it is. Because when Anton Chigurh walks into No Country for Old Men, the genre changes. He's not a hitman. He's not even a villain. He's horror. Pure, clinical, patient horror, dressed up in realism. He doesn't think like us. He doesn't feel like us. And that is exactly why he terrifies us. What happens when the threat in a movie doesn't think like a human anymore? And what does that say about our need to make sense of the violence? Released in 2007, Joel and Ethan Coen's No Country for Old Men is based off of Cormac McCarthy's novel of the same name. It arrived at a time when modern crime dramas and thrillers were thriving. Eastern Promises, Zodiac, The Departed. But the Coens, they weren't chasing that energy. They were building dread. McCarthy saw violence as not a flaw in humanity, but as a central part of it. In his worldview, violence is the foundation of American identity. Survival dressed up as civilization. It is ancient, constant, and inevitable. That philosophy bleeds into every frame of this film. Roger Deakins' cinematography gives us a Texas landscape that feels both infinite and suffocating. The Coens stripped away music, leaving silence and natural sound to help build the tension. And then there's Javier Bardem, who approached Chigurh like a man stripped of all emotion and purpose, yet bound by ritual. He isolated himself during filming, avoiding studying movie villains, instead studying the nature of absence itself. His stillness, his detachment, even that awkward haircut, everything about him rejects normal human behavior. He doesn't raise his voice, and he doesn't justify his actions. He murders with the calm of someone just clocking in for a day of work. This isn't crime cinema anymore. This is horror pretending to be realism. Anton Chigurh is terrifying, not because he is violent, but because his violence makes sense to him. He operates by a logic that the human world cannot interpret, and that makes him unpredictable. He has a code, one that is consistent but incomprehensible. He treats murder like procedure, not passion. He takes off his shoes before entering a room, and sometimes while he is in the room, to avoid making noise or leaving a blood trail behind. He shoots a man only after pulling the shower curtain back, not out of cruelty but precision. He surgically removes buckshot from his leg with mechanical calm, treating his body like a machine he is maintaining. It's all control, no emotion. And then there's that moment where he shoots at a crow. It's a tiny moment, but it is a revealing one. It's superstition, an omen, something that might mean everything to him, but it means absolutely nothing to us. He believes in patterns and signs that we can't decode. That's what makes him horrifying. He's consistent, but his consistency makes no sense to us. Take the gas station scene. He flips a coin and tells the owner,
Call it, yes.
To the man, this whole conversation, up until now, was small talk. To Chigurh, it's a ritual. And we know how dangerous he is. The man doesn't. Every pause, every word, every stare feels loaded. And when the coin lands, so does the horror. This isn't luck. This is logic beyond empathy. Later, when Carla Jean refuses the coin toss, Chigurh says,
I got here the same way the coin did.
He removes all sense of choice. In his mind, he didn't come. He didn't choose to come. He was simply carried here by fate. And then there's the Carson Wells moment. Wells represents law, reason, and a system that believes it can control chaos. Chigurh dismantles that with one line.
If the rule you followed, Roger that is, of what use was the rule?
It's the death of rationality. This is the moment where Chigurh lets us know that logic only works inside his system, and we're not invited. I don't want to be invited. I wouldn't want to be invited to that party. Even his final moments echo that precision. After the car crash, bleeding and broken, he calmly pays a kid for his shirt, ties it around his arm, and disappears before help arrives. He refuses to be seen because being seen would make him mortal. Anton Chigurh isn't chaos, it's precision that we don't understand. And that is where the real horror lives. This is where No Country for Old Men turns into pure horror. Quietly. Deliberately. Roger Deakins and the Coens filmed Chigurh like a slasher from another movie entirely. He's Michael Myers with a philosophy degree. He's Jigsaw without the need to explain his logic. He's like the shark in Jaws, except he speaks and somehow that's even worse. The Coens treat him like a force in motion. He often enters scenes already present. No reveal, no cues, no warning. They never cut away when he walks. You're forced to sit with the dread and watch his approach. And there is no musical score to guide the emotion. Only wind, the hum of the fluorescent lights, or the hiss of his air gun. That silence becomes the heartbeat of this movie. The Coens also use circular imagery. Fans, coins, tires spinning, visual reminders that violence and fate moves in loops. Everything comes back around. The coin is a prop, yes, but it is a symbol of cyclical chance. The illusion that fate can be negotiated with the flip of a coin. The motel shootout is pure horror filmmaking. You don't see Chigurh much, you wait for him. The camera holds the space, the footsteps echo, and we are left to fill in the blanks of the terror ourselves. Even the ending, that sudden brutal car crash, follows the same pattern. It's random, it's meaningless, but it still feels like fate closing a loop. And Chigurh survives because horror doesn't die just because the credits roll. He walks away, wounded but unbothered, vanishing into suburbia like a ghost of inevitability. Because the universe doesn't destroy its own reflection, and Chigurh is exactly that. He is not evil, he's not death. He's what happens when morality and empathy are no longer part of the equation. And that's why No Country for Old Men belongs in the horror conversation. What makes No Country for Old Men a horror film, even though it doesn't call itself one, is how it reflects the things we fear the most. Not monsters, not blood, but the loss of order, the erosion of empathy, and the realization that our moral compass does not protect us. When someone like Anton Chigurh exists, calm, logical, and completely emotionally detached, it removes something vital from the world. If someone is a killer with no remorse, it removes empathy and compassion from the world. And that is a frightening thought, but that is what horror has always been about. It's storytelling, culture, memory, survival, and identity. It reminds us who we are by showing us what we could become. Chigurh is the embodiment of that fear. The human shape that stopped being human. Class is dismissed for now, but I'll see you next time. And if you're asked to flip a coin, maybe just don't call it. Bye!